Aho ahaṃ namo mahyaṃ yasya me nāsti kiñcana athavā yasya me sarvaṃ yadvāṅmanasagocaram. Chinmaya. This is the concluding verse of Hymn to the Self, the spontaneous offering of self-prostrations. The Self is the substratum, and as such it can claim that everything in the universe belongs to it, or it can, in its perfect understanding of the illusoriness of the world of plurality, realize that nothing belongs to it. Identifying with this Self, the man of realization in the royal saint declares in the language of pleasant paradox, all belongs to me or I have nothing. Oh, again, the translation was required first. The translation goes like this. Oh, marvelous am I, prostrations to myself, who have nothing, or all that which is accessible by speech or mind belongs to me only. This verse echoes the same essence of an earlier verse, where we learned Ato mama jagat sarvaṃ athavā nacha kiñcana. The whole universe is mine or nothing is mine at all. In his exalted state, the sage says that the Self has nothing as well as everything. Those who are not familiar with the Hindu spirituality, such statements can confuse them, and there are plenty of such apparent paradox in almost all the treatises in the Hindu philosophy. Transcendental reality is not entirely subject to human rationality. Hence, in understanding it, one cannot entirely depend upon one's mind or one's empirical knowledge. The Self is perceptible and imperceptible, immanent and transcendental, highest of the high and the smallest of the small, form as well as formless, bound as well as free, is perceptible to the mind and senses as well as beyond the mind and senses, is creator and the created, is the sacrificer and the sacrificed, the seer and the seen, the knower and the known, the real and unreal, and so on. When one hears such paradoxical and contradictory descriptions of any reality in any discourse or any scriptures such as the Upanishads, one may wonder how can such contradictions be true? How can the Self be bound as well as free? How can the self have everything and nothing at the same time? Such contradictions arise because we are subject to duality and division and see things in relation to one another. We cannot easily comprehend the oneness of universal existence. You see the universe as a collection of diverse objects, while you are the subject who sees them. However, from a universal perspective, there is no such duality or division. When the royal saint Janaka sees the creation, he says the whole creation is me, the self. For the universal self, everything is either itself or its projections and manifestations. It does not see the otherness. There is no second in the absolute state of Brahman. For Brahman, or the Supreme Self, all is Brahman, without division and duality. Even his projections and manifestation are part of him only, since they cannot happen outside him. There is nothing outside of Brahman. Everything is part of his reality. Everything exists in him and is enveloped by him. So, this way, Janaka, unable to differentiate the creation from the universal self that he exists as, he exclaims that the whole creation is me, the pure self. When we go back to the verse on the light, the second part of that verse was, when the universe manifests, it is I alone that shine. In this shining as I alone, the universe or the creation is the same light as he himself is. In this oneness of the light, the creation belongs to him, or the creation is within him. Everything is one light. Now, when he exists alone in Kaivalya, there is no creation at all, and hence, other than him, the self, nothing belongs to him. He says, I have nothing at all. This nothing is mine and whole creation is mine may appear to be contradictory only when one takes these two expressions with one's mind and intellect. Whereas the reality of such existence is the whole creation is always in him, The whole creation is He, the light, pure awareness. And yet, the world of objects in the creation has no relevance for Him. So, they do not belong to Him. Thus, both apparently contradictory statements are true. The whole creation is me. This is at the Paramarthika level of existence. Nothing belongs to me when the world is viewed as Vyavaharika. When the royal saint has realized his transcendental state, where the whole creation is him, and still he has no association with the world of objects. Same as I hold this creation without touching. When he realizes this within, he cannot end up adoring such a glorious state. And he, as Chinmaya says, stammers, or we can say roars, or whispers, "Aho! How marvelous! Adorations to myself. Namo mahyaṃ. Hari Om Tat Sat."